Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm sporting my new Miss Monster Beholder t-shirt, which will be appreciated by all the gamers out there. I was really happy I got one. Today I'm going to talk about the latest non-fiction book I have read, John Wayne, My Father by Aissa Wayne, his daughter by his third wife, and I believe she was the oldest child of the three. And John Wayne had 7 children. He had 4 children with his first wife. He had no children with his second wife, which was a Mexican call girl. And his third wife was a woman who was Peruvian. John Wayne had a real thing for Latin ladies. Always had. Interestingly, he didn't actually learn to speak Spanish until the last few years of his life. Now, I've always been fascinated with John Wayne, because even in the year 2011, he still is in many ways the quintessential image of what an American is. Good, bad, or indifferent. He does represent in many ways that ideal Western aspect of Americana. And I've enjoyed many of his films. Just recently I did a review on The Cowboys, which is one of my favorite Westerns and favorite Wayne films. But I got the opportunity to pick up this book cheap. I think I got $1 for it at a yard sale or something like that. And it sat on my shelf for quite a while until I got around to reading it. And it really was well worth my time, though a little depressing in some ways. I've had issues with my father in the past. My father was a drunk when I was a kid, a raging alcoholic. So I can understand about what is it like to have the difficulties of a parent that is not there for you in many ways. So I was kind of dealing with some of my own issues of fatherhood while I'm reading the book. So that did have an impact upon my opinion of it. But it was interesting to read this woman's life. She had been heavily influenced by the fact that the Lindbergh kidnapping had shocked an entire nation of Americans. And John Wayne and his wife were terrified that his children would be kidnapped. And for a lot of her childhood, she lived in a 5-acre compound behind a 10-foot-high fence, concrete fence, wall. Her world was shut off from the outside. She had almost no contact with children. Almost everyone in the world she spoke to was an adult. It gives you a very skewed view of the universe, and she was very honest about this. This woman who wrote this book, it was very brave of her. She didn't hold back anything. And it didn't paint Wayne in a bad light, in my opinion. He still is the hero in some ways, but he's very human. She gives him a real 3-dimensional look and feel. And at the end of the book, I really felt I had known Wayne in a way that I would have never had a chance to if I hadn't listened to her words. Listened to her, what her life experience was like. In the spotlight. You know, having to live through paparazzi chasing you across continents, not just in America. But she got an opportunity to go to, Europe, Africa, all over the planet because of her father. She got to hang out in sets. She was in 4 films herself as minor parts. In fact, she was supposed to do the role of Maggie in the True Grit version that John Wayne had done, but she was not cast in that role. It was his original idea. But I really enjoyed the book. I recommend it if you are a John Wayne fan. You want to know what it's more like his life was like. I didn't know that at the end of his life he got disgusted with America and he was going to move to Mexico, which would have set shocks across the nation if John Wayne had left. He really didn't like the Jimmy Carter administration. Though I freely admit that I was interested to see that he looked at the issues one at a time. So even though he was a staunch Republican and conservative, there were issues that he disagreed with the crowd with, because he thought those single individual issues warranted that attention, and that gave me more respect for him. So it was a good read. It wasn't a long read. It was a fairly decent, fairly quick read. I guess it took me a week to read this book because I only read them at work. My nonfiction books I read at work, and my gaming books I read at home. So if you are a Wayne fan, definitely John Wayne, My Father by Aissa Wayne is a book that you're really going to want to read.